Fountain of youth. Rejoice and be glad. All those frustrations, all those hesitations, the nervousness, the burning, the butterflies of unease, the confusions, and the errors that manifest itself when your mind says, do this, and your body and personality do not follow, all of these can be washed away forever. Yes, you thought yourself ignorant about women, so inexperienced, so confused, and you just seemed to be following an evil circle. Maybe you were like me, a super mega dork who slept through life until now. And perhaps, like I did, you read and reread all material on women and life you could get your hands on. But what if I told you were always a Don Juan at one point in time? And I do not mean a specific situation or hour. I mean at one point in your life, you knew everything about women and handled them with perfect ease. So perfect that it was 100% natural, and if anyone told you to view a website or books for information, you would laugh yourself silly. Wouldn't that change everything? Wouldn't you say to yourself, well, if I was that perfect Don Juan, then I would try to remember how I thought and what I did, and when I was that Don Juan, rather than mind endless posts and books. After all, if I was a Don Juan, then I require only recollection, not revelation. Go find a picture of yourself when you were a young kid, say at age 6. Look at him. He is smiling gleefully without a care in the world. He doesn't know he's going to turn into the sad adult that you are now. Hormonally, the only difference between you and your youthful shadow is that you are flooded in testosterone and in a state of chemical madness. Your youthful shadow knows better of the joys of life. It is no wonder parents find their offspring such a wonder as they reframe the dull life of bills, appointments, and responsibilities with the fire of youth. Yes, you say that you are an adult now. You have responsibilities such as bills and chores and work to do. You have no time for such nonsense. Or do you? I bet when you were a kid, you were a natural Don Juan. I bet you got all the girls in the sandbox. As a child, you knew how to treat women better then, even though now you are an adult. Some of these factors include that you knew girls and guys were different. Trendy intellectuals have this problem today. You knew there was a male and a female. Realized girls has cooties and could destroy a guy. This isn't too far off, as girls can totally devour and destroy a man and his life. Knew that it was improper to be girlish, you would and ought to get beaten up on the playground. Older people get an error in the brain called philosophy that speaks bubble-swelled words like relativity, revolution, freedom, and pop with the scent of rotten eggs of pious moralizations, bumper sticker arguments, and rambling dissertations. You knew at an early age that you cannot free yourself from gender. Girls were not to be taken seriously. After all, they are girls. It is the nice guy that takes the woman seriously in every and all things and cannot say no to her. Girls were to be guided, teased, because after all, they were girls and, as such, tended to mess things up. You pulled their hair, made fun of their clothes. Not because an internet guy named D'Angelo told you to do so, but because you knew instinctively that it was right and proper for you to do. As a boy, you would never leave the plans up to the women. Oh, that would be awful. As a kid, you had to say what you two were going to do, when, where, and sometimes why. You had to be direct. Why do I need a plan, Pook? Why can't we do what she wants to do? Because she has no idea what she wants to do. Example. When do you want to come over? I don't know. On Tuesday or Thursday? I just don't know. How about Wednesday? Is that okay for you? Maybe. What about Tuesday or Friday? I don't know. Aggravated. Alright, I'm coming to pick you up at 7:45 on Wednesday. Sweetly. Okay. You did not get into serious talks with a girl. You did not turn her into Oprah. You did not try to impress her with how intellectual you are. You probably hit her, cried tag, ran off, and she would chase after you. You would get on the swings. You would push her off the slides, on the seesaw. You would try to fall as fast as possible to catapult her away. Everything you did with a girl was action dates. Nice guys try to cook the lady dinner. You wouldn't even dare to do such a thing when you were young. Now I know why some of my best dates are ones as simple as taking a girl to the park and running around like little kids. Action, action, action! As a kid, you loved to sing. You loved to laugh. What do you do now? You are so uptight that you wouldn't catch yourself dead singing outside your house. And what happened to that happy laughter that marked your childhood? Why are you taking everything so seriously now? You had toys and loved to play with them. When the girls entered your sphere, you insisted on playing with your toys. You would ride your bike at death-defying speeds. You would play with cranes and Tonka dump trucks. You loved fire trucks. When you grow up, your Hot Wheel cars turn into super fast sport cars, which you still drive at death-defying speeds. Your cranes and dump trucks turn into big ones, and you still love fire trucks. Compare this to the nice guy who does not understand the beauty of construction or gets scared at the idea of fire trucks. There is a reason why women love firemen. You embraced your imagination. If you played with a girl, it was to be on your terms. You will not find a boy that says to a girl, "Whatever you want to do." I remember flicking caterpillars out on girls, and they loved it. You would point to the girl and go, "You are the detective, and I am the cop." And then you would point to the others and go, "Look at these villains. Come, we must round them up." And then the girls joyfully played the part. What do you do now? Let's go to dinner? Boring. You had one eternal enemy in childhood: boredom. Like a void, it encroached on you in school, ensnared you with the stupid trip with your parents, and enveloped you as you stepped on the school bus. You embraced every chance for play. If there is one thing a man must never do to a woman, it is this: do not bore her. Make her happy, make her angry, make her laugh, anything but bore her. That enemy, boredom, is back, and women are looking for you to strike it down. Embrace your youth and live again for the first time. Even at a young age, you were aware of fashion. Your mother was perplexed at why you couldn't wear that shirt or put on those shoes. You knew the importance of clothes and appearance had. Nice guys and trumps try to say nothing for appearance and say, "She will like me for who I am," and, with the same breath, ignore the chicks who do nothing appearance-wise, big whale chicks, pimply chicks, and such, while getting shot down at the real women. When you were young, your father was a demigod. You both feared and loved him. He could be playful when he wanted to, but always he was a source of strength, always confident, and always seemed to know the solution to any problem you came across. This feeling of awe you thought of your father is the perfect definition of a man. When you strive to be the same towering figure, which seemed to have the solutions to all problems, confidence for all troubles, know-how for all messes, stability for all storms, women will react to you in the same way. It is said women want to marry their fathers, but this phrase has been taken completely out of context. Women want to marry that guy, that man they knew when they were a little girl. You can only understand and become that man through the eyes of the young boy. Now some women will protest this advocacy of looking at women as little girls. This works especially well with the younger chicks, which is what most guys here want. This also solves a legal mystery. Why were women from the 1800s and down treated by law as children? We know the answer now. And I would say to women to treat the men in the same way. Women are most charming when they view us as boys. "He whom the gods love grows young," said the ancient Greeks. Look at the pictures of the young you. Now look in the mirror. The blazing light in the youth's eyes, the curiosity, and the wonders he saw at nature and life, the joy he loved at any occasion. Are they still a part of you? Look into the mirror. Is the same light in your eyes? If not, then you know what you need to do. You have come to the solution of your Don Juan troubles. Legend spoke of a fountain of youth that turns the old young. Conquistadors prowled continents, hunting for this magical facet of nature. This legend of the fountain of youth was like a psychological splinter in the minds of so many men, driving them across the world through dangers and storms to obtain such a treasure. But it was not in the world, it was in us. Who knew women are the key that seems to unlock all of nature's mysteries? Doesn't this clear the stormy air of confusion, especially with younger, immature women? When you are with a woman, and 1,000 Don Juan philosophies and tactics come to thwart your peace, remember the kid that you were, and how he looked on life. Yes, she might be a 20-something vixen, but underneath those milk sacs and fat deposits that drive your chemicals mad is a little girl. Rather than being nervous about some date, view the date as if you were 7 years old. Everything becomes simple and fun, as it should be. One thing is for certain. Women go nuts over a guy who keeps his boyhood charm, as women want an escape. They do not want to hear your views on the world. They want to have the happiness and fun of their childhood back, as everyone does. They will fight for the rare men who truly live like this. This also explains the mystery why uneducated men often seem to do better with women than many men with PhDs who are so smart they intellectualize life out of existence. As we know, cell division error, aided by free radicals, accumulates errors throughout our body as time passes. A person of 80 obviously has more errors than that of 40. His tissues start to fail, making his organs fail, then entire organ systems collapse, until life is snuffed out. In the same way, our minds start out pristine and pure, that of a child, and everything is playful, fun, and simple. But as time passes, philosophies and bitter memories accumulate. The diseased person looks at life only through the philosophical lens, living a life of past memories, and so his life decays and decays until there is no life within him. Pook hands you the chalice. Drink and pass the cup around. This water from the fountain of youth will wash away these errors. All those frames your bitter memories eat at your mind. Drink to the girls that rejected you viciously. Drink to the macho guys that beat you up in school. Drink to the chains of routines, errands, and appointments. Drink to your ambition. Drink to your melancholy. Drink to your loneliness. Drink to your heart's content and pass the cup around. Your mind has now absorbed the blessed waters of the fountain of youth. You are now the light of the world. Your life is now young, fruitful, fun, easy, simple, and your body will reflect it as well. The world is now your sandbox. Rejoice! Many people get swallowed up in their vanity, all believing themselves brilliant and smart. They follow their philosophies unquestioningly, and their lives walk on the quicksand of melancholy. But they see the new you and it smashes all their philosophies to bits. They ask each other, how can he be so happy? How can he be so alive? Let us study him and we will write articles and manifestos on him. But you know the truth. Their ambitions have consumed them while you look in life with youthful eyes and live in a child's paradise. Quote, originally posted by Short Timer. Indeed, maybe the childhood Pook speaks of is true but of him, but it seems more like some idealistic version of the past that never really existed. I too recall my childhood with torment. If I could, I wouldn't live it again. Maybe this metaphor will work for some people though. You guys are thinking too much of this. There is no time in sexuality. In the realm of sexuality, uncorrupted with intellect and politics and all, which is womaniverse, time simply doesn't exist. This is not looking at your childhood as if it were some golden age. To the contrary, your entire life is the golden age. The problem isn't because you've aged, because in sexuality, time doesn't exist. The problem with many is they become so super intellectual or so educated that it corrupts their sexuality. Your body doesn't get corrupted by time. It gets corrupted by cell division error and free radicals. In the same manner, your mind/soul doesn't age. It gets corrupted with intellect, philosophies, and education. I always wondered why girls could be attracted to hard bodies, happy smiles, but never the genius. Now we know why. Years ago, I was at my most natural state, when I would rant about philosophy, politics, economics, and so on. As you can imagine, this bored the women. Women want smart guys, but not melancholy-filled philosophic guys. My actions were so intellectualized that women saw through everything, or used me in some way. This is an anti-intellectual post, very tame of what will follow. Many people sense that time is going faster and faster and faster for them, as if life is speeding up. Things become more frantic, responsibilities become more stacked, and the geometry of rules and regulations grow narrower and narrower around your life until nothing remains. The reason why time is speeding up is because your life's relationship to sexuality is going down. This isn't about bringing your childhood into the present. It is to cleanse your mind and soul of all philosophic dust and bitter memory garbage that has accumulated. We cannot reverse time with our bodies, thanks to the cell division error, but we can drink from this fountain of youth for our minds. With one sip, the complexity of women just vanish. With 2 sips, you no longer want to talk and intellectualize with girls. You just want to run around and have fun. With 3 sips, you look at all these manifestos of women and how to get women with disbelief. This fountain of youth is not immaturity. It is not mediocrity. I find it amazing how people go through so much trouble to make sure their body isn't contaminated by disease, germs, and the like, yet there is no such consideration for their mind and soul with politics, philosophies, and perversions of all sorts to infect and tear down your sexuality and thus your life. Think about it. Do you want to have a relationship based on talking about DNA? The childhood example applies because no child intellectualizes life. It was only years and years later that I decided I was smart, and so read and got filled with a lot of BS that life slipped past me. Most people's sexuality deteriorates. Some people's deteriorates more than others. But when one of these people sees a Don Juan, they start intellectualizing what is really going on. So all these theories are born, which is just the intellectual's excuse not to face the truth about himself, that he was not so brilliant after all.